For now, let's bring in our guest. Matthew Dalek is in Washington, where he's a professor at the Graduate School of Political Management at George Washington University. Good evening to you, sir. How much do you think that this first presidential debate is going to influence voters in the US?
Well, the first debate tends to be the most watched, and the record for the number of Americans watching debate was 84 million. That could be broken. But debates tend not to change the direction of a race. I mean, it's usually the fundamentals, the economy, the pandemic. Those things do matter more. Given that Trump has been behind, though, for so many months, it's possible that the debate could help or hurt him on the margins and shift the media narrative a bit. But it seems in the long run to be unlikely to fundamentally reshape what's happening now.
Indeed, one might hope that some of those 40% who didn't even bother to vote in 2016 might be inspired by what they see to come out and cast a vote.
Well, the interest in this election is enormously high. I would not be surprised if this broke a modern record for the number of votes cast. I think that we will have many millions of people, an estimated, I think, 3/4 of all people planning to vote are going to tune into this debate. So it does have that kind of, in the U.S. at least, a sort of Super Bowl type feel, right, where it's the big event. It's incredibly dramatic, and it will be talked about. But again, Hillary Clinton bested Donald Trump in the first debate in 2016. John Kerry trounced George W. Bush in the first debate in 2004. Mitt Romney beat Barack Obama in 2012 in their first matchup. And none of those candidates who won those first debates ended up winning. So, we should put that in perspective and put what happens tonight in perspective, too.
Indeed, perspective is a key thing. You mentioned the Super Bowl. I'm wondering how Biden will manage to score against someone like Trump, who, let's face it, moves the goalposts. I think that's been proven in terms of how he plays with the truth. Perhaps in this context, it's best to say he changes the shape of the ball in some way. How can Biden score against Trump when you have an opponent who's like that?
Well, that's an interesting strategic question. I would recast it a little bit. I'm not sure that Biden's advisors are going in thinking that he needs to score against Trump. I mean, Trump has been the most talked about, dissected human being on the planet, and especially in the United States for the past 5 years. So people's views about Trump's are pretty set in stone. I think Biden, his goals are probably to let people know that he has a plan for the economy, because that's the one area where he's been lagging slightly behind Trump on the numbers, to let people know that he has a plan on the coronavirus, right, and to kind of drive that message home and score points against Trump that way on Trump's failure to control the spread of COVID-19. Issues like Trump's taxes, that might be an opportunity, but again, people seem to be locked into Trump, whether they hate him or love him. And so I think Biden's primary mission, in a sense, is to come off looking presidential and to let people know that he has concrete plans to govern effectively and that he's going to be a safe, a smart alternative to Trump.
Indeed, he's got to show he's the man with the plan, and beware of that political animal, or a political animal in many ways, Donald Trump, who is clearly at the moment wounded and maybe ready to lash out verbally. Matthew, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Matthew Dalek from the George Washington University there, where he's professor at the Graduate School of Political Management. And I know what you're going to be watching later, sir. Thanks for joining us here on France 24. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, for you,